Sie hören Sport und Musik.
It's John Brooks for the USA!
Das Spiel ist aus! Deutschland ist Weltmeister!
In a world where fans fight over whether to call it football, or soccer, two German men defy the odds and call it Fußball. Bringing you inside the German-American Fußball experience. And now, here are your hosts, the Schnitzel Boys.
Jawohl! Ja. Mach hin!
Was machen wir denn hin?
Was machen wir denn hin? Wir machen Schnitzel.
Podcast. Schnitzel und Nacht.
Wir machen einen Podcast. Schnitzel. It's Monday night. Schnitzel night with the Schnitzel boys.
We're back with no delay. We're back with no delay.
We hope. We had a couple delays last 2 weeks. We're sorry about that. I did a lot of creative editing and post, but it was a lot of delaying. Not this week. This week it's on point. No delaying. Your delay. No delay. Hee-hoo. No delay. Hee-hoo.
So we hope you're not as mad at us as Bayern is at Manuel Neuer.
That's right. That's the big. I was about to start this episode by being like, the U.S. soccer community and the German soccer community have such parallels, right? In the United States, we just finished this long Reyna, or maybe not even finished, this long Reyna beef that just keeps coming and coming and coming. In Germany, now we have this Manuel Neuer soap opera saga, and now that's coming and coming.
This is yeah, I guess so. I mean, this is really tempest in a teapot, though. No, I mean, I think the Reyna thing had a lot of layers, blackmail and spousal abuse from years ago, and soccer parenting, and there was all kinds of things. This is just Manuel being sad publicly, and everybody's jumping down his throat. I don't know. What's your take? Tell me.
Yeah. I mean, it's not exactly the same. You're right. The American soap opera's got more juice to it, but but I'm just saying it's one of those things that keeps going because it was like, okay, he broke his leg. Like, okay, it just had moments, and then they fired his goalkeeping coach, and then they hired Jan Zoma, and then he came out and spoke because he's team captain, or one of them at least. And then Brazo Hasalihadžić, I can never say his name right.
Hasan Salihamidzic.
Yeah. And Oliver Kahn and Julian Nagelsmann. I almost said Gressel. And Julian Nagelsmann and Gressel. He probably has an opinion there too. They're all speaking to different news sources, and they're saying we agree, disagree. So Manuel Neuer was interviewed by The Athletic in English, which is interesting.
Rafa Honigstein, right?
Honigstein got the scoop. The Athletic on point, getting a good full length. I think he was interviewed by the Süddeutsche Zeitung at the same time, so I think it was like an English interview. But it was a full length interview, and I'll tell you, I think they are making a mountain out of a molehill because.
Yeah.
In typical journalist, he said his heart was broken, or no, his heart was ripped out of his chest.
He felt like his heart was ripped out of his chest. His best friend and coach was fired.
But that's what they used for all on Sky Sports and Daily Mirror. It's like, heart ripped out of my chest, Neuer exclusive, But if you read the whole interview, he's pretty diplomatic for the most of it. Like Rafael Honigstein, like a good journalist, is trying to egg him on, and he's deflecting all of it. But when they asked about his friend Tony Tapalovic being fired, he's like, yeah, that was really sad. That felt like my heart was ripped out of my chest. He's just saying how sad it was. However, then they said, well, he was fired because Nagelsmann thought he was leaking info to the players. very straightforward with me. We talk it out. It was not a like we're on good terms. It was very much a everything's professional. But he had a whole like everything's fine, everything's fine. How do you think about Jan Zoma being signed? He's like, I love it. Jan Zoma's a good guy. I love 2 good goalkeepers at the club. You know.
Yeah, it's right. It seemed like he was biting his tongue a lot through a lot of it, and now he's still, still everybody's mad at him.
Yeah, also, I like the first to do was explain his ski accident because he's definitely feeling the heat. He's like, I didn't go to a fancy thing. He said when you usually go to Austria, you drink a bunch of schnapps and to go ski drunk. That's what he said, which I didn't realize was a thing. And then he's like, no, this is my local mountain. We came home to the car early. I went to my local mountain down the street. It's a bunny slope or whatever. He was really trying to downplay ski thing. And he's like, I was skiing, I lost control, and I broke my leg. He's like, however, this injury isn't as bad as my last 2 injuries. This I already know what's about to happen. You know, he's very confident he's about to come back swinging and play for Bayern Munich again. So it was very interesting. He was very vulnerable, I think. Don't you think? The whole
I thought so. I thought it was I thought it was an interesting interview, and I was definitely surprised afterwards that it's this kind of fallout. Everybody is. I think things are just a little tense at Bayern these days, I suppose. Everybody, they're usually would be up 12 points at this point in the season. Everything would be on autopilot. They'd just be getting ready for the Champions League match. And not so. Only 1 point ahead of Union Berlin, and I guess everybody's a little tense. So this is the and he's out, right? He's going to be out for a while. So the perfect scapegoat. Manuel Neuer is now the scapegoat for everybody else to kind of rally together. Maybe is that the hope? I don't know.
Is he out for a while or is he out for good? I think that's the question, right?
Well, I mean, he doesn't think so. He thinks he's going to be back.
True. He also mentioned he doesn't have a cast on his leg. He has like a cello wrap, or what? I forgot exactly what he said. Which is interesting.
Yeah.
However, if you're on the Bayern Munich boards like I am, there's some insider info, some rumors that a doctor, I think a member of Bayern New York is like a doctor or something. He said that his accident is worse than people realize, and it's like not at 36, especially. It's going to take like a year and a half to recover.
How does he know that?
A year and a half. I don't know. It's Facebook. How does anybody know anything on that? This is just something I've heard.
I see.
Through a guy. So take it with a grain of salt. But you said his injury at that age is going to be a year and a half. And then let's pretend it is a year and a half. That means he's going to be 38 when he's coming back from recovery.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, father time, as they say, right, is undefeated. And
undefeated.
Even for goalkeepers,
as they say, as Sylvester Stallone says. You mean as Sylvester Stallone says in the
he says that?
Creed.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's the only source. That's the only time I know a guy.
The only time this has ever come up before. No one's ever said that prior to Creed. Okay. So anyway, yeah.
When Baby Creed goes to the restaurant, and there's like, you had a secret fight between you two, right? Like,
no, I remember.
Know that. He's like, who won? You did. What got to him?
Oh yeah.
Time.
Wow.
We're undefeated.
We're mocking Sly Stallone now. All right.
I love Sly Stallone. Did I send you that random photo? Did I send you that photo of just Lothar Matthäus hanging out with Arnold?
Oh yeah, with Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah.
And Giovanni Elber. And with no context.
It looked like
what is this?
Looked like a male plastic surgery convention.
Yeah, maybe they're all at the slopes or something. I found out some Stallone's Instagram.
They've all had various degrees of work done. I guess
Lothar Matthäus? You think?
Lothar as a good German man looked more authentic than the rest. Less filler than the rest of the group.
Do you think Lothar Matthäus has had work done?
Botox? Pretty sure.
Yeah, maybe.
Not a lot of filler, though.
Definitely. I mean, he grew inside.
The fillers are what get you when people go down the road of that's where you then end up with a face that's like twice the size it used to be.
Well, I remember one day I just looked at Sylvester Stallone watching a movie years ago, and I'm like, I remember his head being smaller. I'm pretty sure he used to be a smaller dude, and I'm pretty sure I'm right. He like had growth
Yeah.
hormones a lot, and his head just expanded.
I think it's the
So,
filler. I think it's the
right.
fillers that people, people add like. Anyway,
More fillers.
yeah. So poor
But yeah,
Manuel.
Bayern
Yeah,
Munich-
who knows? It's unclear, right? It's unclear how long it's going to take. If he's going to be,
No.
if he's going to be the same. This is a lot of injuries in the last couple of years, and he's not getting any younger. And he is,
No.
his play. Obviously, his whole play is based on being mobile, etc. It's not just like he's going to be standing on the line waiting for shots like Buffon
The ultimate
or
sweeper
somebody.
keeper.
Yeah,
Like
Buffon or
Zach
Buffon or
Steffen,
Sepp Meyer. They could just kind of hang out on
Or Zach
the goal
Steffen,
line, wait for the Zach Steffen. Well, Zach Steffen. No one's going to pay Zach Steffen to play till he's 40. I'm going to make that call right now. Oh,
sorry, I got a sound friend of mine who listened to our last episode. He just gave me advice on my thing, but I hear you about having more load. Okay. Anyway, not all is well in the state of Bayern. However, another interesting part of the interview is when he talked about the national team for a bit, and Manuel Neuer, apparently there's criticism about the hotel, which is hilarious. It's very real. But Oliver Bierhoff and the hotel, and he asked about Oliver Bierhoff, and Oliver Bierhoff said he always put the team in front of himself.
oh
So
yeah.
he always cared about the team. And then Rafa Honigstein said, wasn't everybody? He's like, no, I wouldn't have said that. Other people put themselves for the team, but not all of it, is what he said. Very wonder who he's talking about. But he also talked about how the hotel in Brazil sucked. The hotel in Russia was better. And like he just so he said the hotel. I don't know if he's much better about Qatar. I think the criticism of Qatar is they were too comfortable or whatever. And he's just like, I don't know. It's just funny how they broke down the hotels.
Manuel Neuer, breaking news, Manuel Neuer did not think that the hotel is the key variable in the results. The results at a World Cup are not directly related to the quality of the hotel. You can have success.
Well, he kind of enforced the notion then. His response was like, yeah, in Brazil, people don't realize that was a terrible hotel. It wasn't quite done. There were monkeys screaming at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't get a good night's sleep. But in Russia, I got a much better night's sleep. And in Qatar, it's like, well, then that's the issue.
Oh, so that's what we're learning.
Relaxed.
Oh, what he was saying is you need a shitty hotel.
That's not what he was saying. Like,
but that's what you're concluding. This is the conclusion that you're drawing.
But if I have to put my analysis hat on, I'll be like, oh, then clearly, thank God that Rudy Fuller's there, ready to book him a much crappier hotel for next time.
Enough monkeys. Some monkeys. Get some monkeys into that hotel.
We need to bring a bunch of monkeys in, put them up in somewhere up on the beach somewhere there. And get them an uncomfortable hotel. That's the idea.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, not all is well in the state of Bayern, except over the weekend, the big game against Wolfsburg was very anticlimactic because after a bunch of draws, Bayern München 1-1, 1 point, and they were up against Wolfsburg, which is in great shape right now.
They had a very
Niko
good.
Kovac has a bone to pick with Bayern München, and Bayern München was up 3-0 by 30 minutes. Back to the old ways again. They were crushing. Wolfsburg had little to offer. It ended up being a little more exciting towards the end. But I think the final score was what? 4-2?
4-2. 4-2. Yep. Well, there was a little bit of controversy. They thought they had a 4-3, but then VAR intervened somewhat controversially. Anyway, Bayern won, and that's what they needed to stay on top, because if they hadn't, it would have been Union Berlin, who are back to their old ways. We had given up on them. Our man Jordan, P. Foxy,
who scored the winning goal?
Adoy, Alexander Arnold scored again.
Mm-hmm.
And Union Berlin is back in second.
Finally,
1
after
point behind.
not scoring. Does this mean that if the World Cup were tomorrow, he would be on the roster? Like how Greg said?
If
He
the
mentions,
World
like,
Cup,
if we put this roster together in October, BFOC would be on it. That's what he said, which I think was a lie. But he scored again.
If the World Cup was tomorrow, the US would be completely fucked because they don't have a coach, they don't have a sporting director, they don't even have anyone to book a hotel.
I love it.
They would be staying in a
Hey,
camper.
they got Anthony Hudson. I'll book their hotel. I just looked at hotels last night. I'm going to a little German town for my family reunion in October. I found a nice little cheap pension where the breakfast is free, and it's right on the marina. That's where I'd book the German national team. Nice pension with free Wi-Fi and free breakfast. What more do you need?
Amazing.
Monkeys.
Apparently, you need monkeys.
I'd bring him in. I'd go to the zoo. Germany's got monkeys, right? Somewhere.
Bring in some monkeys.
I go deep in the German jungle and I'd get a bunch of monkeys and bananas back.
Oh, yeah.
Make it tropical for them. Yeah. Have you ever been to the German jungle? It's crazy.
Oh, the monkeys.
My favorite thing.
The monkeys wear lederhosen in the German jungle. It's wild.
My favorite thing to do in Germany is get on a swamp boat and just swamp around and go crocodile hunting.
Yeah, that's
my favorite.
Right. That's my. Well, I love it watching the wildebeest when the wildebeest cross the rivers and try to avoid the crocodiles. That's my favorite. That's just a spectacle. You don't see that in a lot of other places. You have to go to Germany.
Oh, it's only in Germany. Yeah, I love it. And then when I'm done with that, I go to the desert, the Wüste, and I like camel riding for miles and miles. I'll go hours and hours with camels.
the Bavarian camel.
I'll go to the
world renowned. Yes.
And then I'll go to the Bavarian. The old Bavarian.
The old Bavarian desert.
We're having fun with there's no you can't hear me?
I missed the end of this bit, so
me?
I don't know. I hope
sorry.
I hope you brought it to a conclusion.
The conclusion is it does not exist. Wait a minute, is there a delay? Can you hear me?
I think the delay
check.
I think the delay is back.
Seriously?
I know, it sucks.
I need to crap. Oh crap. Let me find what's that I have to go to that. How do I do this? Do you still have that link I sent you? I don't even know what that link is.
I do. No, I don't.
How do I figure this out? Because maybe my thing reset or something. So there's a delay right now?
No, right now it's good.
It's good? All right. Well, let's keep going for a bit. Let's hope it doesn't come back. And maybe in between podcasts, we'll take a look. So we have another broadcast at 7.
Sounds good.
Anywho, so Bayern München, Wolfsburg, back to the 4-2. Jordan Pifak scoring. Good for him. He got a goal, a little finisher. And
they just call him Jordan now on the commentators. Nobody's even trying anymore with his last name. It's just he's just Jordan.
Michael Jordan. There's I want to talk about a couple of other Americans in Germany right now. One is the great Gio Reyna, who has been knipsing, hasn't he? He's been finishing it up. He scored the last goal in 3 out of the last 4 Borussia Dortmund games, and the one he didn't score in was the one he didn't play in. So he is coming off the bench, and he is playing hot. He is firing it. He's got a point to prove. So with all this Gio Reyna drama, it's light a little fire under his butt to be as good as he can be, and the dude's got chops, so I like that's happening. I like that he's coming in hot and he's scoring. And let's hope it keeps going. Let's hope he gets healthier. Maybe has a role as a starter. Right now, he's one of those super subs coming off the bench. He's young, so that's fine. He's not the talk of the town. The talk of the town is Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham being the great rock star. As great as the Americans are at Borussia Dortmund, there's always a British dude that steals the spotlight.
He is probably the most valuable player anywhere. Like, he's going to go for a huge transfer fee.
Yeah, he's going to go to Chelsea for another $200 million on top of the $600 million they've already spent.
This was props to the Bochum Twitter administrator, because they were tweeting, because Antwi Ajay had 3 assists in the first half, and they were tweeting out that we're lucky that the transfer window is closed, otherwise he'd be on his way to Chelsea tomorrow.
How big of a Twitter staff do you think Bochum has? 20, 25?
Oh, I doubt it's. Are you kidding? No, I mean,
I am kidding.
Well, I think it's generally not. People always make jokes that it's the intern. I don't think that's the case. I think these days people have proper social media departments. But I don't think it's not 25 people.
It's either one paid guy or they have a company they pay to do it, and the company does, I think, a bunch of accounts, I'd imagine. Something like that. But I don't know. I ain't a genius. But yeah, no, but anyway, Gio Reyna's on point. Jude Bellingham's crushing it. Borussia Dortmund
are contenders.
Contenders. They just signed. Didn't they just sign a really big defender recently to kind of fix their whole back? Oh, and who's in great shape is Schlotterbeck. Schlotterbeck has been in decent shape lately, because I know he's also a little
he scores a lot. He scores a lot, but
I guess that's not a great sign of a defender.
I did not watch this game, so I cannot report on whether or not the defensive. I was perhaps noticing a slight defensive improvement last week, and I didn't watch this game, so I cannot report on whether that is continuing or not.
I agree. I think they're working on it. Bring it up. They know it's a big weakness, and I'm looking up transfer marked here. I think they just signed a big defender, did they? I don't know who they just signed.
If they did, I did not hear about it.
Arrival. Oh yeah, from PSV Eindhoven, Donnell Malen. Isn't he a defender? No, he's a left.
Malen. No, he's been there, and he's a winger, right? Yeah, he's not new.
Let me see. Marin Pongracic? Yeah, he's a center back. They just signed a center back from Wolfsburg. I don't know. I think they just got him in the winter transfer.
Oh,
let's see here.
What's his name?
Marin Pongracic where's he at? Loan. Oh, no, he's in Italy right now. Never mind. Maybe I'm mistaken. I thought I saw they just signed some hot shot new center back. We're not very well researched here. I'm sorry about that.
All right. Well,
okay. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. But if they didn't,
they did sign. They have a bunch of quality that seems to be coming together. Adeyemi has been great for them. Jude Bellingham, of course, and it seems like they're more coherent defensively. Perhaps we will keep monitoring that situation, because if they could figure that out, they are instant contenders. Because I mean, offensively, they have a good squad. They have quality off the bench, not just Gio Reyna, also the other young English winger who also has 2 names.
Giddens?
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. And so they are quality. If they can defend, then they could win the Bundesliga. We will see. Freiburg, however, their adventure at the top is not lasting. They have they've fallen out of form, and they keep losing, and now they're in 6th, no longer 2nd.
Well, I mean, just hanging out in the top European positions are good for them. So they're the two Fs, Freiburg and Frankfurt, are still in decent shape.
Yeah, we're just keep watching the Verfolger carousel. On the Verfolger carousel, Union Berlin is unexpectedly still top, but Dortmund right on their heels. Leipzig also was not able to win on the road in Köln. It's only a scoreless tie, so they stay back there. Frankfurt also, they were on the up and up coming. And they beat Hertha, so they're in there. They're back in there. Wolfsburg were good. Hoffenheim lost to Bochum, and now Andre Breitenreiter is history.
Well, that's the other American I want to talk about. Is there was a great center back American who left and went to Portugal for 6 months, and he came back and he walked right onto the starting lineup. Like he went straight to playing full 90s 3 games in a row, I think, at Hoffenheim. And that man who was in our intro, he's a big part of our intro. That man's name is John Anthony Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, John Anthony Brooks went straight to Hoffenheim, and since he's been there, I think they've lost by 5 goals 3 times in a row, right?
They're definitely, was it 3 times in a row?
Hold on, Hoffenheim, 3-1 against Union Berlin, 2-2 Stuttgart, 4-1 against Gladbach was his first game. Then 3-1 against Hoffenheim, the DFB Pokal was the second game, and 5-2 against VfL Bochum was the third game.
Yeah, Bochum.
That was the surprising score of the weekend, right? No one was expecting that. Did you watch that?
What do you mean? Why do you say that? We are a fortress. The new coach has not lost at home. Won every home game. So why wouldn't we beat Hoffenheim? No, this game.
I think you would, but 5-2, 5 goals.
5-2.
Bochum scored 5 goals on the week.
Hoffenheim's a mess. Hoffenheim is a mess. That's why they fired their coach. John Anthony Brooks is not helping.
He's not the answer.
Bochum, Antwi, like I was saying, Antwi Ajay had a great first half. 3 assists, really just tap-ins for everybody else. He did most of the work. And then, there was definitely a little bit of, in the second half, Hoffenheim scored immediately, and I was getting a little bit worried because, Bochum have defensive frailties. And but then another counterattack goal, and everything was fine. No, that was a good. I mean, Bochum's been mostly pretty good. Even the two away games we lost. There was one that played pretty well in Leverkusen, not that well in Mainz. But this was another good performance, coherent, and again out of the relegation zone. Fingers crossed.
And the coaching carousel continues as Andre Breitenreiter got fired.
Yeah.
In 2 months, he'll be the head coach of Stuttgart or something, whatever the other club that needs a coach is.
They're bringing Pellegrino back. What's Pellegrino doing? He has not.
Pellegrino's about to be the head coach of Hoffenheim. You know who might be the head coach of Hoffenheim, Bjorn? Is an American coach who also specializes in the sort of the high press Ralf Rangnick school of football. That man's name is Jesse Marsch, who was fired today.
Oh yeah, today. Well, that's a whole other. He's going to be the. Well, this is. Should we talk about this now, or is this for the second hour? He's going to be the U.S. men's national team coach. No,
yeah, we'll say for the second hour. It seems that the timing is Kismet. You're right. And also, yeah, I don't know if that's Germany hour or USA hour with Jesse Marsch. Probably more USA hour. Is he damaged goods? He had 2 gigs, and they both were pretty short lived. Like Leeds was a year, but it wasn't a great year. It was like saving, last minute goal, and then they had a full season with a summer transfer window, and it was very, very miss more than hit. I think he had some good results, but he had a bunch of poor results. It's like it's cool you beat Chelsea, but you got to beat Bournemouth essentially. So, but anywho, what I'm saying is he's around. Maybe to change things up in Germany, maybe Hoffenheim will give him a chance. Either that or they'll just hire Pellegrino Matarazzo or whoever's around, as that is how the coaching carousel works. I want to be a fly on the wall in those rooms, like when they hire a coach. I want to be like, yeah, although I failed the last 4 clubs for the same things, This time it'll be different. And they're like, yes, it will be different. Huzzah, you're hired. And they shake hands. I want to see what that's like.
Well, everybody's got some success on their resume, right? Or else they don't get to that point in the first place. So that's what people want to see, right? I mean, when Jesse Marsh will say, "Oh, I made Erling Haaland who he is today,"
He didn't make Erling Haaland, but he won an Austrian Cup, sure. But in Germany, they look in Germany. What do they look at when they see an Austrian Cup? What do they see? Not much, I don't think.
Probably not a whole lot.
Yeah.
Well, there's also these like specialists. At this point, you need like Peter Neururer used to be that guy. He's like the guy. He's the guy you hire if you're trying to avoid relegation. You hire Peter Neururer. He's going to save you from that, and then eventually you have to find a replacement because he's only good for a few months. Because I don't know why. I don't know what makes somebody good at that. It's like because he just yells at everybody, and they're scared for a while. Eventually, they toot him out. Then you find somebody else. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Like how Jurgen Klopp is being tuned out these days, Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I'm very curious how that works. Yeah, I love Peter Neuer. He was a longtime Bochum coach.
Yeah,
and I remember him coming onto Fox Sports World back in the day and interviewing in English, and he's just like, I love with my motorcycle going to Utah and Colorado every summer, and just about how much he loves the West. He is currently the Sportdirektor of SG Wattenscheid. Unless they let him.
Oh yeah. Very nice. Yeah. He famously, in the Sportstudio, the long-running Saturday night late edition. It's basically like a recap show in Germany of where they show highlights, but there's also guests. There's interviews. That's where Alexander Nübel was interviewed. Anyway, part of their whole shtick is that they eventually let the guests take shots at this Torwand, die Torwand. Right. I don't know. It's like basically it's like a smaller. It's like a cardboard version of a soccer goal, a smaller size, and it has two holes, one in the top right and one in the bottom left, and then you get three tries for each of those, and you're going to make as many as you can, and there's a little banter surrounding that. Anyway, that's part of their whole thing. And when Peter Neururer was a guest many years ago, I'll never forget it, they asked, there was some he was getting ready to shoot on the Torwand, and the host asked him, so judging from your career as a player, would you rather aim for the high one or the lower corner? And he said, judging from my playing career, it would be best if I scissor tackled the Torwand, which I thought was pretty funny.
Get a good red card.
Yeah,
he's a funny guy. So he was an enforcer back in the day, is what he was saying.
He was.
Yeah, we don't have guys like that anymore. The old Mark van Bommels. We don't really have guys like that much anymore. The Pepe is a Mark van Bommel.
Jimmy Sands,
here an MLS legend. Jimmy Sands, the Mark van Bommel of today.
He was, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I think you miss him. I don't know. I don't miss him that much, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't miss him that much.
Yeah, sometimes honesty. Sometimes honesty is not necessary.
Not the best policy. Well, we'll see if I miss Aaron Long. I definitely miss Dax. I miss Sasha. I miss all the guys. I miss Lewis. I miss BWP. But anyway, that's the wrong hour. This is the Germany hour. Cool. So we had Union Berlin. Borussia Dortmund is in third or fourth place now. They're working their way
third.
And,
3 points back.
Third, baby. We had Union Berlin over Mainz. Leipzig dropped points at Köln. That'll be disappointing for them. Frankfurt beating a hapless Hertha 3-0. The Bochum beating Hoffenheim 5-2. What a result.
That's right.
Gladbach getting a point against Schalke. Werder Bremen over Stuttgart.
I watched that game. I watched that game actually, the Gladbach Schalke game. That was a more interesting game than the result suggests. Schalke definitely looking
Really?
scrappy. I don't think. I mean, we'll see what happens there. They're lacking some quality, especially offensively, but they're definitely trying. They are looking coherent. They were defending very well against a pretty potent Gladbach offense, and Joe Scally actually was called upon for some emergency interventions in front of their own goal, and he performed pretty well. That was an interesting game.
Nice. So good game from Scally overall, you'd say? There's an
I would
interview
think
here
so,
from
yeah.
Scally where they want to go to Europe, but like Gladbach is, I think, 10th place. No, Gladbach is 9th. They are how many points off Europe? They're a decent. They're 8 points.
They're
off
not
6.
close.
They've got.
They're not currently close.
No. The top 6 are a little bit of a group because from 6th to 7th, Wolfsburg are 5 points behind the 6th spot. So they need a couple games to go their way. 5 points on a downfall and Wolfsburg's on the rise, but there's still a 5-point cushion between 6th and 7th. And then Frankfurt with 35 points, Leipzig with 36, Dortmund 37, Berlin with 39, and Bayern with 40. So 5 points separates the top 5 teams. So that's the top of the table's got some excitement. When was the last time we said that?
Many moons ago. This far in the season, yeah.
This far in the season, many moons ago. Bayern München have a game next week at home against VfL Bochum. So
yeah, we have a cup
Bochum
game
next week.
We got a cup game too before that. We have a cup game against Dortmund. We're playing Dortmund and Bayern next, so easy games.
Well, but with your run, mate, we'll do it, man. I love this. Bochum Dortmund will be a fun game. That's a do or die cup game, and that's on Wednesday.
Yep.
Or is that maybe even tomorrow? Well, that'll be a lot of fun.
No, it's Wednesday.
I look forward to it. I'm rooting for Bochum. Let's go Bochum.
Let's go.
Cool. Any other thoughts? Let's go. Any other big sort of Germany news hour thoughts on your mind?
Well, we talked about Neuer. I think that's it for the Germans.
On kicker that the Bayern president.
Everybody is disappointed. Everybody's disappointed.
Yeah.
Oli Kahn brought up news from 20 years ago. He's like, 20 years ago, I was disappointed, but I kept it to myself for this whole time until now. And you should have done the same.
Tony Schumacher came out, the great German catastrophe goalkeeper who has no remorse for the things he did in his career. He said that Manuel Neuer should retire from the national team, at least, just focus on his club.
Right.
And Neuer's like, well, thank you for the opinion, but he says everyone's got opinions, and that's great, but I'm going to do my own thing, you know.
This just in, Ralf.
I love it. Everyone's got an opinion on Neuer.
Ralf Hasenhüttl might be the next coach of Hoffenheim.
Yeah? That makes sense because that probably makes a lot of sense because he was also he's a Red Bull coach, Austrian, and he spent a lot of time in Southampton. Did decent in Southampton.
Yeah, until recently.
But I think he's looking for a gig, part of that coaching carousel. But I would be very curious where Pellegrino Matarazzo ends next. I would love to see him coach again. Maybe he's got a break.
Maybe he will take over the U.S. men's national
Pellegrino
team.
Matarazzo, I was going to say, Pellegrino Matarazzo and Jesse Marsch are both available. If you had to pick one to be the U.S. men's national team coach, who would you pick? Pellegrino, known as Reno, or Jesse Marsch? Who would you pick?
I would pick Pellegrino. I'm not a huge Jesse Marsch fan.
So, are you picking Pellegrino because you're not a Jesse Marsch fan, or are you picking Pellegrino because you're a Pellegrino fan?
Oh, both. I mean, I don't think I'm a Pellegrino fan, because I like singing that song. As a coach, I think, he struggled also. But
yeah, well, Pellegrino was more of a case-by-case basis coach. He's like a smaller club coach, where Jesse Marsh was trying to be a personality coach. He's like, I've got a style and a philosophy. Do it or die. Do or die in my style or philosophy. And where Pellegrino was more like a case-by-case basis. So what one's maybe more exciting than the other, but the other maybe produces better results.
Hmm.
So.
I was listening to some takes today, and I was surprised there was the Transfermarkt dudes were putting out a YouTube video, and what shocked me about that was that they were referring to, I guess because when he took over for Nagelsmann in Leipzig, they were referring to him as a well-dressed alternative compared to Julian Nagelsmann, which I've just been making fun of Jesse's outfits that he was wearing on the side. Like he always looks like a 13-year-old taking a girl to a movie date. Like he was wearing these tight pants and sneakers. Jesse Marsh, he had like this weird sort of flasher trench coat on over a t-shirt this weekend. I have not been impressed with his fashion choices. But that's that's obviously a minor.
You have a lot of takes on.
I do have opinions about how people
take on coaches.
That's true.
But what I will say is, if I were a coach, especially in Europe or in Germany, I would just wear a full suit every day. Didn't that used to be standard? That's a stop. No one does.
I think less so in Germany. I think this was more of an England and Italy thing.
Yeah.
I think in those countries it's very common. In Germany, it used to be the tracksuit. It's like you're wearing the coach was always dressed as the coach was always dressed as if they're like had to go in a pitch.
He's ready to go on. Yeah. Which is nonsense. And that's always funny to me. It's like, what are they training? They're not running or anything.
Well, I guess it was like, we're here for athletics, and we're wearing athletic gear. So and I think it's more England. Right. It's more England, Italy, Spain, where the coaches traditionally were wearing suits. Yeah, and now, I guess in Germany the tracksuits are out, but people are still more casually dressed. Even like Thomas Reis. Thomas Reis always had the hoodies on, the branded hoodies. Julian Nagelsmann, who we were completely mystified by where he gets his jackets from. We've covered that.
It's right out of a H&M or like a Uniqlo. It was very much like a hip, thin jacket with heat tech over, and like you said, like some sort of like khaki or dark brown pants or something, and then like sneakers for some reason on a football pitch. Yeah, that's like the way to go. And I'm like, all right, someone made that choice and they're all just doing it like sheep mentality. No. If I were head coach of Hoffenheim or something, I'd be in a full tuxedo every week. Full ass with tails and everything, with gloves.
You said previously that would be a big worry.
Just to confuse everybody.
If you were coaching Bayern, you said previously, that would be a problem for you to figure out what to wear. But now you've solved that problem. Tuxedo.
Did you ever see? You know what I'd want? I solved the problem. If I was coaching Bayern, I'd be in a full bright red, head to toe Steve Harvey style suit, with like it'd be like a red suit, white shirt, and that blue and white Bavarian pattern as a tie. I just like take the Bayern München logo and turn it into a full Steve Harvey like suit.
Amazing.
And essentially, I look like a mascot. Speaking of mascots, I'll save this next take for the USA Hour. Anyway, any other thoughts on Germany this week? We got
that's it.
Games. We got the Bundesliga. Will Bayern München be back to shape normal before they play PSG? Will Borussia Dortmund keep their winning streak on? Will Union Berlin? How late will they stay in the fight?
Did not need Isco. Clearly did not need Isco.
Not yet. Excellent.
Will we ever figure out this delay issue? That's the other
Is it back?
It's back.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you said it was gone. I never see the delay.
It was gone for a while now.
Tell me if it was delay or not.
All right. We got it back.
Well, damn. All right. Well,
anyway, that's it. Deutschland hour done. Well, in the US hour, we will talk to you about business, perhaps. Maybe we'll talk about business.
Seattle Sound. All right. See you guys. Tschüss. Bis nächste Woche.